So now we've finished with all of the difficult past tenses, but there are other ways to communicate the past. So let's go on to the words used to and would. The word used to and would. Used to has two different meanings, and we'll talk about them right now. The first meaning of used to is one long continuous past action. So for example, I used to live in Florida. That was one long continuous past action. The United States used to have 13 states. Right now we have 50, but we used to have only 13. That was one long continuous action. Now let's look at the other meaning. You can also use the phrase used to indicate a past habit, something that happened a lot of times in the past. For example, I used to play tennis every week. So I played on Saturday, then I stopped, then I played again and stopped and played again and stopped. It was a habit. Also, you could say that teachers used to use chalkboards. But you can probably guess already that, well, at least in America, we don't all use chalkboards anymore. In fact, where I teach now, we use a lot of whiteboards. Now, the question you have is, how do we know which meaning we're talking about? Well, you can usually guess pretty easily. A lot of actions are repeatable, and some of them are not really repeatable. So when we talk about living in a place, you normally don't live in a place as a habit. It's usually one long past action. Now we have the word would. Would is very interesting. Would has a lot of meanings, and we're going to talk about all of them. But for now, let's use the past meaning. For the past meaning, would can also mean a past habit. So I would play tennis every week. That has the exact same meaning as used to. Also, let's see, when I was young, I would sleep with my dog. I used to have a dog, he slept in my bed with me. It was a past habit. We would sleep, wake up, sleep, wake up. The question that you probably have is, used to can be used for everything. Would has this one limited meaning of a past habit. So which one should you use? Well, this has to do with your sociolect. Older people, people that are 40 years old and older, use the word would pretty often for this meaning. However, younger people, people in their teens and 20s and 30s, rarely use the word would in this context. It does exist, but it's much more rare. And if you watch American television shows from the 1950s or the 1960s, would with this meaning is actually really common. So what I'd like us to do, I want you to become very familiar with this. On the next slide, we have an activity, and this activity, meet Lola. Lola is the dog that is going to model for us for a lot of activities during this term. And if you notice, there are 7 sentences about Lola right here. You know that used to can be one long past action or a past habit. For this activity, what I want you to do is this. You know that would is also a past habit. So for each of these 7 sentences, I want you to look at the sentence and decide, can you replace used to with would? Is it a past habit? So let's go over these together. Number 1, Lola used to be a puppy. A puppy is a baby dog. Is this one long continuous action or a past habit? Well, you can probably guess this is one continuous action, so we cannot replace it. Now let's look at number 2. Lola used to bark a lot. To bark is for a dog to make noise. Is that one long action or a past habit? You probably guessed it's a past habit. So you can say Lola used to bark, Lola would bark. It has the same exact meaning. Number 3, Lola used to eat people's shoes. Well, hopefully for everyone, eating is a process that starts and stops and starts and stops. It's a past habit. So Lola used to eat people's shoes, Lola would eat people's shoes. Number 4, Lola used to have black hair. Well, normally, if your hair changes colors, it only happens once. So it's one long past action, having black hair. Sadly, my hair is black right now, but I think in about 10 years, it'll all be gray. I'm not happy about that, but it's a fact. So in 10 years, future Jake will say, I used to have black hair. I cannot replace it with would. Now let's go to number 5. Lola used to be afraid of lightning. A fear, is that a habit or is it one long continuous state? Well, you probably guessed it's one long continuous state, and so we cannot replace it. Number 6, Lola used to hide when she heard lightning. And that's true for every dog that I've had. A lot of dogs are afraid of lightning, so they will always hide each time that they hear it. Is that one long action or a habit? You probably guessed it's a habit. So Lola used to hide from lightning. Lola would hide from lightning. And last one, Lola used to be homeless. Is that a habit or is that one long past action? You probably guessed this is one long past action, so we really can't replace it with would.